Okay, we're here. Another cafe ride. Gosh, it's July. Let me invite our um, guest today, who's Jane. I think she's, let's see if we can get her going. There we go. All right. Jane, I just sent you your invite. Hey, there you are.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Good. Yes. All good.
Nice. Where are you joining from?
I'm actually at the office, the quietest place right now.
Where is that in the world?
That's in Bar. It's like, well, it's next to Zug. That's where the offices are, and basically there's nobody here because it's like 6 and already in the evening, and we're still in home office mode. So
You're in Europe. You're in Switzerland, correct?
in Switzerland, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. That's cool. So thank you so much for being on the other side of the world and joining in to chat with me. It's 10 a.m. in Colorado. So
More coffee for you than for me.
yeah, I know. I had to like quit because I had had too much caffeine, and I was like, okay, no more. But thank you for joining. I think we have a lot to chat about because you're like a total badass. Um, and it's just, I love your story. And I would love, we've got the next 25, 30 minutes to chat, but, um, you know, I just want to chat about how you balanced, career, life, also like doing professional sports, but like why you didn't fully commit to doing that, because I think those reasons are super valid. And then just kind of how you've seen the sport evolve and, talk about the people you've met. And maybe we can talk about some of your funny
Yeah.
incidents. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you could just kind of give us some background onto who you are and how you're in the sport.
Yeah, well, it started early on the sport. Like as a teenager, I remember I wanted a bike, so my parents gave me some money, um, for like it wasn't a birthday, but so I got my first trek and no suspension, but it had full XT, so I was really, and I was like, yeah, this is a good bike,
What
great
year was
lift,
this?
everything. And it was aluminium, and we went on rides with this local bike club, but it was all men, like I would have to say probably middle-aged men,
Yeah.
so it was
How
like a
old were
young
you?
girl. Sorry.
How old were you? Like what year was this?
Probably like, I don't know, like 15, like really early. I had click pedals, and obviously I fell over like everyone does the first time, so everything was new. And so I went on. I wasn't scared to go with guys. So I went there, and then I have to say, for a large amount, or some years, I didn't do any, like not lots of sports. And then I separated from my boyfriend then, and then I had lots of time, and I was like, okay, I need to do something with my body. Like, I'm getting too fat. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pick up cycling again.
Yeah.
I went to the fitness club, did lots of these spinning lessons, and met someone there, and I'm like, let's go cycling. So we went mountain biking, and that's when I found my way back into the mountain biking, and also
And
he's like, come on, let's compete.
yeah, and where were you living at this time?
So at that time, I was obviously already moved out from home. I was about 30 years old already,
Yep.
and I lived in Zug, so around here, which
Yep.
is great for cycling. There's mountains, there's everything, for road, for mountain biking. So yeah, and then he urged me to get to basically pick up cycling, or as competitive cycling.
Yeah.
So for a few years, like 2 years or so, I didn't have a license, but I raced anyway. And then you used to get like tires for prize, and I'm like, okay, I have enough tires now. Why
Yeah,
don't I
you're like, I'm
try?
good on
Do I
tires.
get some money now? you know. So like, obviously the girls that were riding, like cycling then in the pro category, were like, I don't know if you know Esther Suze, but she was world champion at one point. Or some of the girls that stopped already a longer time ago, really strong Swiss girls, marathon distance. I'm not
Yeah.
talking cross country, because that, I mean, I did cross country races as well,
Yeah.
but only later on when my coach said, look, you need to train, you know, I mean, you
Yeah.
need to train some of the speed, and it'll do you good with the team, because the team was all cross country. I was the only marathon rider. And that's pretty scary, to be honest. Lots
Yeah.
of elbows and serious business. And marathon is more chilled. It's like you're going to be on the bike
Yeah.
for 7 hours. No
I'm
stress.
more into that situation. I just want to be like, no one be near me. The stress of people near me, I'm just like, get out. Too much anxiety.
I mean, it's good. I mean, if you do it a couple of times, you're like in the mode. But I mean, even if you watch a World Cup, you see the girls like at the start, like someone like Yolanda Neff, she always smiles. I think it's her way of just kind of relaxing, and
Yeah.
it's the worst feeling ever. Like before the start, am I going to fall? Am I going to make it through? So anyway, I then got a license, and I decided to get a British license, because at the time, so I have dual citizenship, Swiss and British.
Yep.
But
And
I'm
how
not,
old are you at this point?
well,
Where
around 30.
still 30? Okay.
So we're 32, 31, 32 actually, because I remember starting to train for a multi-sports event that we had here in Switzerland. It was like rollerblading, running, mountain biking.
Rollerblading.
I
Yes.
know, rollerblading.
I'm
It still
so
exists.
into this. Can we bring this back?
It's people still do it here. It's crazy. Like I
I need
still
to
have
come
my old
visit.
ones. We make fun because we see couples, and I'm like to my husband, I'm like, let's go rollerblading, you know, like as a couple sport.
Yeah.
No, anyway, so I'm like, okay, how am I going to train for this event? It's winter. So my friend said, let's go to South Africa. So we went, and that's how I kind of started realizing, okay, I need to train for stuff, and I need to go places where it's warm so that I can get rid of this winter here. So yeah, that's basically how I then started to go to the Canary Islands and South Africa to actually train, and for larger races, or just because here
Yeah.
there's quite an amount, some months where you have to like train indoors. And I
Yeah.
did that too. I would spend 3 hours on the spinning bike. I mean, crazy. I couldn't do that anymore. But just to prepare for Cape Epic, for instance, because I'm
Right.
still working.
I was gonna say, so at this point, you had always been working full time, like in Europe. It's like you can, instead of like part time, it's like 80% or 60%, and 100% is full time.
Yeah.
But so you had basically said that, like, I'm gonna continue working and also compete professionally. And why did you? What was your reasoning behind that?
Well, it's like, no, I mean, I would have to get sponsors, obviously, if I wouldn't, like, and you couldn't find any. I mean, nobody's interested in sponsoring a marathon rider and then a female marathon rider. It's just, there's so many good bikers here, as you know,
Yeah.
Switzerland, like, they would then sponsor probably cross country bikers. And so for me, it was like, where's my money coming from? I can't. And the whole safety issue, I'm living by myself. And it's like, I mean, I'm not depending on my parents. So I have to,
Right.
yeah. So it's the safety thought that Swiss people, they just have, because I mean, it's expensive to live here, and
Right.
you can't just chill and ride your bike and enjoy. It's like, we really, I mean, everybody who comes here, it's beautiful, and we have a great standard of living, but you really have to work hard as well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's 5 days a week or more for some people. So I just thought, okay, maybe I can work 80%. That's still, pretty good.
Yeah.
And then train like 2 afternoons a week. But that would mean obviously coming from a race, and then on Monday get up at 6, and everyone else is kind of, I don't know, still sleeping or at the physiotherapist or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was I mean, nobody's interested in hearing that story. Like, how do you get here? Like, I knew I wasn't going to beat some of these good girls, unless something happened, they had a flat, or I don't know, it's just physically not really possible with the time I had. But still,
Right.
I think even if you set your mind to something, and maybe I was also a bit of a lazy ass, like I could like I could kill myself but not like fully commit. Sometimes I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, it hurts now, like, do I want this? And then I'd be like, no, it's okay. Be
Yeah.
nice
So
to yourself.
I guess like, what was your motivation then? You know, like, because I mean, I've never raced professionally. I don't plan on ever doing that, but like, I do enjoy competing at like I love pushing myself, but I know that I don't find that fulfilling at all. Like, it's fun, it's a novelty. I'm like, okay, cool, but like, I could never dedicate my entire day and life to just like training and recovering and training and recovering. Like, I need to work. And I find like that and friends and like drinking wine more fulfilling, and just like doing stuff outside. So I guess like, what was your motivation and like thought process behind like not going that, other than like financially I can't support myself? Was there something else?
No, I guess it's the same, like the same as for you. I kind of enjoyed life, and I needed that other thing to get my mind off of the cycling. I mean, it's a small world. It's not like, and people who are in it, I can understand like professionals who then like they stop at some point because they're too old or whatever, and then they're like lost. I'm like, what am I going to
Yeah.
do now? And then they realize, oh my God, it's such a small world. And yeah, for me, it's like I knew I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't, like the 80%, that was sort of max. And then I started working during some months. I worked 100% so I could take time off and train in January and so on. So that was kind of, I knew that was kind of the maximum that I was going to be able to do, just because I didn't want to lose my job. And
Yeah.
I also enjoyed friends and drinking a little bit of wine every now and then, enjoying my life and not
Yeah.
diet or like, so I wasn't, I was committed, but like in a healthy way.
Yeah. Your
And I think
identity
that's also
was
what
like,
helped me, like, say,
yeah.
okay, this is and say, okay, I came in third, which is totally fine, or fourth even, and I was happy with myself because I knew
Yeah.
what I was investing. So
Right. Yeah. Your identity, you know, I think you knew like there's a timeline for this, and like when it ends, you're like, when you're done, your identity isn't just gonna like totally shatter and blow up.
no,
You're,
no,
you're like, I have other things.
yeah.
But I mean, all of that being said, you have some like, you've racked up some pretty good accomplishments along the way. So I'd love it. Just do some humble brags, or like,
Okay. Well, I was sort of unlucky lots of times as well, because I was not professional enough. So I remember at Euro Championships, my cleat came off. Like it
yeah,
actually came off on the last, I think, 5Ks. And I could have gotten third, like at least a medal. But no,
yeah,
my whole cleat came off. And then from then on, I'm like, okay, Loctite. It's gonna,
yeah,
everything has to be like, um, so yeah, these then fifth in Euros a while back when I wasn't, I mean, I just started and the field was really strong. We had Gunrita Dale and some of these really top girls at the time, cross country girls,
yep.
and I came fifth, and I was kind of proud about that. And then Cape Epic, we managed some stage wins, and one year was going to go really well, and then my partner, she fell sick I think on the third day, and there's nothing you can do. It's just,
Yeah,
inside, oh my God, I'm like, I would, we could have won this. We
yeah,
could have really won this because we were really well prepared, and then something like that happens. So
yeah,
it's a couple of stage wins, and then the British Marathon Championship that I won. That was nice, like to wear
yeah,
the jersey, and it was, I mean, I had to fly there obviously because it was in Scotland, because
yeah.
in England they can't do marathon races because there's a law that you can't cycle on these small, I don't know what they call it, bridle paths or something.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so they have to move everything to Scotland because there you can do that. So I went there about 3 times. And I remember every race, I took a wrong turn because they wouldn't stick. The arrow would be like this small, and I'd be charging, and it's like, what the hell, you know? And
Yeah.
then my then still boyfriend, now husband, would be in the feed zone, and you just hear in the forest someone cursing, like, you know, shouting around. I'm not going to say the words now. And then everyone in the feed zone would be like, what the hell's going on? And he's like, yeah, Jane's coming now.
Yes.
Out of a good mood. It's like, because you get angry. You're like, oh my God, I took the wrong turn. I mean, how can
Oh, yeah.
But that's also because I didn't have like a week in advance to like look at the course, because I worked, then traveled there, and maybe stayed 1-2 days max, but you can't do the whole race or the course.
Yeah.
Recon.
Yeah.
So I that's also something that I was basically never able to do, to use recon, so that you know exactly when do I attack, or what's, you know, where do we go.
And then I know you worked at a bike company, and was that like, you know, cycling was your passion and you thought like, oh, this is going to be so great, I'm going to work in the cycling industry?
And it was great. It really was. It was. I worked with one of the best teams at the time in mountain biking, and these guys were, I mean, they're all male. It was a men's team, and no women at the time, and they were so nice, and I had so much fun with them because they were so laid back and just cool guys. Not, I mean, some of them were a bit more, because it was Julian Epsilon at the time, and you can tell he's like, he does mingle, but he still stays to himself. It's his personality. He was very focused, but the other guys, there were, Steven Edinger was on the team as well.
Oh, cool.
Guy. I mean, yeah, I know they were all super, and so I really enjoyed myself. That was only part of the job, and I also had to take care of the Swiss Cup, some Swiss races here, and I kind of worked too much. I think I really overdid it, because I was constantly working because it was so much fun. And I kind of blew up because it was very intense with the World Cups, and then you travel there, and the whole business in the office. I mean, all the admin stuff, but it was lots of fun. But I think I realized, okay, I need to work somewhere where I'm not that enthusiastic, because I'm not going to survive otherwise.
Yeah, it's like a weird, the cycling, if you are working in like the hobby you love, I think it has like waves where, you know, like I'll go on vacation, but I'm like thinking about work because I'm generally like riding my bike, and I'm like, oh my God, I could do this for work. Or so it's just like, I don't know where, like the lines are so blurred at this point that I no longer know. Or like I'll take like a personal project, I'm like, oh, this could be cool to I'm like, stop, you gotta stop. Not everything.
I think it works when you're younger, but I mean, then that's totally fine. And I must say, it was also due to the fact that the company was getting reorganized, and that was a large part of the decision where I said, look, I think this is not for me. But yeah, I then missed it for a few years. I still would go to races, and I mean, at races, you know, what's her name? Leah Davison. Her mother is like, I'm like her. Like, I'm as loud as her. Like, we could probably compete. I get so, like, a race for me, that's like, now it's better. Like, it used to be really bad where I'd be like, yay, come on, and I'd shout at people. It's better now, and plus I don't go that regularly anymore, because it's just, I have kids at home now, and the plan is just different. So
and maybe I was gonna say, maybe, you know, just talk about, because I think when you're not being super competitive, but you're still competing, like a lot of the draw is just like the enjoyment, the people, and I think just like the sense of accomplishment in general. Like, you're just proud of yourself, and like you were saying, like, you know what you invested. So like, if you got you did super well, you're like, oh my God, that's incredible, especially considering that like I have all these other factors going on. But yeah, I don't know, like maybe if you can chat about what the community was like for you, and then, you know, now that you're a little removed from it, just kind of what you've seen the sport transition to as like you occasionally watch it, because I'm sure it has changed significantly in the past, you know, 10 or so years.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, marathon in general, here, like it almost feels like it's dying because obviously last year was a difficult year, and there's lots of people that invest their free time into organizing these races, and then you don't have the funding anymore. So I'm not quite sure if this year they even had a series, but
Wow.
last year definitely not. So I mean, that was a blow. And also I I mean, there's lots of people that ride these races, but I think in other countries there's more people. Like in South Africa, you find the 60-year-old mother that goes cycling. You don't really have that here. Like
Really?
yeah, it's people. Yeah, I don't know. It's a country where cycling is very. I mean, we have lots of pro cyclists who are really good, and it should be really well known, but still these races they're kind of dying. But
Yeah.
then having said that, the whole gravel scene, you're seeing lots of that, and then lots of young girls in, I don't know, they have these great outfits on, and you're like, wow, I didn't see them when I was training, like I was by
Yeah.
myself. So that's like picking up. And I said to the guy at the local bike shop, I'm like, what's up with these girls? Like I need new glasses. Like I have the small ones still, you know. Okay,
Those are going to come back. Those will come back.
I must keep them.
You have
If
to
I
keep
need
them.
these big ones, like that cover your face, then you don't see how old I am. And then, yeah, so I'm like, what's up with these girls? And he's like, yeah, I know. They come in here and they're like, look, my friend, she rides. I need a bike as well. So that's cool, you know.
Yeah.
And cycling, like cross country, obviously still super. I mean, yeah, we have some of the best cyclists.
Yeah.
Um, but otherwise, what's missing here is sort of the whole age, like the age groupers. There's not
Yeah.
many, especially
Really?
women. There's more
Yeah.
men, obviously. So that's kind of sad that even here, if you have like, I don't know, world championships. I remember once we had the cyclocross championships. There's like, we were put together in one category because there's just not enough women. And then in the States, it's like, I don't know, 20, 50-year-old women racing,
Yeah.
which is cool, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting hearing about, you know, just like the experience you have in Switzerland. And like, I wonder if that's just because of like the mountain bike culture or whatever the culture is, but like with gravel here as well, like I helped out at like a camp for women, and I was like, oh my God, there's like 50 women here. I was like, I don't know if that's ever at like a cross country race, like, and it's all ages, all abilities, all everything,
Yeah.
which is great. And I'm just like, I almost think that, you know, it's just like these individuals, like these race directors and like pillars, people of the community that are super important, that have just created a space for like inclusion and being
Yeah.
open. And like, it's, you almost like, you need that to happen within communities for, I think, the sport to grow, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe Switzerland will, or like wherever you are in Switzerland will you'll be able to have that. Maybe that
Yeah.
could be you. That could be you.
Yeah. I mean, we have the Grind Duro coming up here, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's just maybe like 10K from here. It's going to be in pretty soon in September, I think. So it's great to see other things. I mean, it doesn't have to be a marathon racing because obviously
Right.
it's long. I mean, it'll hurt when you're
Yeah.
not super fit. It does hurt. I mean, it kind of hurt when you were fit, but you'd be like, okay, it's over in 5 hours. But these guys are out for like 7, 8 hours, and then it hurts even more. So I can understand someone who says, look, I'm not going to ride over a mountain. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I would do that, actually, to be honest. Like, be in a race, but like chill. I don't know if I could survive, to be honest.
Really?
You know, like maybe I have to try it.
Try it.
Yeah.
I feel like you've got like that personality that you could just go out and like knock it out.
Problem is my brain says, yeah, you can do it. And my body's like, well, no, thank you. You know, like I go on a road today and I'm like, yeah, I used to do this. And then you're like, okay, this isn't functioning properly. My brain thinks I can do it. And yeah.
I guess before we go, maybe can you talk about what that's like? Cause I think, I mean, I'm 33, which I'm still young. I still have like plenty of time, but in my head, I don't have a lot of time. I was just talking about this last night. I was like, time is running out. I have so much to do. My athletic potential is tanking. I know it. All the stuff I want to do, I need to squeeze it in while I'm like fit and fast. But like, what is it like going from like being really competitive to having your brain still think you're really competitive and like fit, and then your body just being like, no, we're good.
You're sort of breaking up, but
Oh, okay.
I know it's good now. So I remember my physiotherapist telling me, look, Jane, you're as fit as you're ever gonna get. This is it. Like, enjoy
What age
it.
was that? What age?
Probably like 34.
Oh my God. That's happening to me.
No,
this
but
year.
I then obviously it went on for until I stopped. I had so I decided, okay, this is going to be it. I want a family. That was basically what was going to happen. And then I started working for the bike company, and I knew, okay, maybe another year or so, and then we're going to start or try for a family. And that's basically that sealed it. So I was then, obviously, when you're pregnant, I was sort of the type, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even run. So I kind of enjoyed this time where I did nothing. I really enjoyed it because I did.
Nice.
I mean, I trained for so many hours, and I really I enjoyed that time. Did I always like it? No. Like, I thought, I could get back to being fitter, but then at the same time, I knew I wasn't going to want to do both, because there's, women who say, okay, I'll have a child and then I'll go train on and win another medal at the Olympics, for instance.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be that type. Like, I knew I was going to dedicate my time. I had enough time racing, and I knew now is going to be the time where I have a family, and if I can cycle a little bit, that'll be fine. And that's still the way it is. And I think in my memory, I still have all these feelings. Like, you don't forget what it was like and what you were able to do,
Yeah.
in training and so on. So I think you kind of live off of that, and it's fine. Like, now,
Yeah.
if guys overtake me, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. And back then, I'd be like, okay, I'll get you.
Yeah.
I'll get you back, or I'll make you suffer because I
Yeah.
have a ponytail and you don't like.
This
you
is
don't
me.
like.
You are me.
So, yeah.
And I'm you. Where I'm just like, I'm going to make you sweat.
It's going to be totally fine. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, I must say, if I wouldn't have a family, probably I would have trained on. But at some point in time, you can't, it's not possible to uphold everything. But then you start enjoying the landscape. Like, you're actually, okay, I used to ride like this.
Yeah.
Not look left and right. And now you're like, okay, I'll just kind of turn around and look what it looks like from the back. You never did that. So
yeah.
It's totally fine.
Well, I was going to say, can we just have this conversation like maybe once a month whenever I start panicking, and you can be my therapist?
But do enjoy it.
Yeah.
You really have. That's what I did. It was stressful, I have to say, like, making all these travel arrangements, finding partners for Cape Epic. I'm still in contact with lots of people because it was just good, and I really enjoy having met them. And it was stressful at the time, arranging everything, but I think that's what I needed. And that's what my job probably didn't give me at the time.
Yeah.
So it was a boring job in the bank industry, and that's where I got my thrills from.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very helpful.
So,
I feel like this to me, I'm like, okay, I'll contact you in like a month or so. And I'm like, Jane, I'm coming to Switzerland, please. Let's just go for a ride.
yeah. You're right. You post pictures of your neighborhood, and it looks really stunning. So yeah, it's nice here too, but very different.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I would love to come over and ride. I've always wanted to go to Switzerland. I'll see you when I'm there. So hopefully we'll work that out. But yeah, anything else before we jump off?
No, not really. I told you about the funnier stories that I had when I was racing. Because I was racing for GB or Great Britain, I wasn't really tested at home. Like, Swiss Cycling would do that for the Swiss athletes. but I wasn't ever really tested. Okay, I was totally clean. I was
like doping tested. Yeah.
so, yeah, exactly. So that was a rare occasion for me to get tested, and I would never drink during races, or like rarely drink, because I was so nervous, and I would always like arrive totally dehydrated, and then they'd be like, okay, you need to pee, and I'm like, oh no, am I going to do this? Can you not? So I remember even at the epic, so we won the first stage of the epic, the prologue, and they're like, you need to pee, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like, it's not going to happen. Everybody went on with their motorhomes to the next location, and we were like the last team to leave, because it took me several hours to kind of,
oh my god,
right, and it was horrible. And I was like, I think I was like sick from that the next day, and I'm like, can't you take my blood? And they're like, no. And I'm like, why not? It's like, they can. And every day it'd be like, every day we would win, we'd have to get tested or even podium. So the girls the chaperones would be like, oh, hi, it's you.
Yeah, they're like, it's Jane.
I was like, no, they were friendly, but it was always like an ordeal. So yeah, that's
funny.
I think it's good that they do test. It is really important. And yeah, that was, that's also a topic that you could talk about for hours on what happens when girls test positive. We've had that as well, and it's just always very unlucky for the runner-up, basically, who didn't have that feeling or victory or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. But other than that, anytime you come to Switzerland, I probably won't be able to follow you. I'll have to get an e-bike or something.
I would love to be over there, or I'm a trail runner, so I would running around all the mountains. Thank you so much for chatting, and you are a total badass, and I have so much admiration for you for, I don't know, doing all the things and still being really successful and having a really level head, and just being super open, chatting about it. So thank you so much for talking. I'm psyched.
It was a pleasure.
Visit.
Sure, it was a pleasure, and keep on posting funny stuff. I love your your little breaks and your snacks and everything.
Oh my god, awesome! Thank you so much, Jane.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.